Hello my bosom friends, welcome back to my channel. Pray you're all doing wonderful and are keeping in extremely good health and in perfect happiness. Today we're going to do a quick rundown of my best loved bits and bobs, because again, this is where we just chat about beauty, lifestyle, and all the things that just take our self-care to the next level. So yeah, if you haven't subscribed, please do hit the subscribe button. Turn it into a nice gray. Gray is such a happy color, isn't it? It has massively grown on me. And yeah, do turn it gray and do make sure that you give the video a big boop boop. It does help me get to the next level. So it has to be a collaborative effort between us guys. So please do make sure that you like and make sure that you subscribe. And yeah, that was awkward, but yeah, you get the picture. Yeah, so let's get into the best loved bits and bobs. To start with, over here I have this midi skirt from Zara. I believe they've done these skirts quite a few times because I keep on seeing them, and initially I was like, oh, I'm not into Zara anymore, I don't want it. But I love it because it's a neutral color, it's cream in color, and it's got a high slit on the front. So it does add on to the sexiness, but still modest, because a midi skirt really falls below the knees. It's very ladylike, very chic, and the ruching as well on the hip makes it even more cha-cha-cha, you know? Like you want a samba sort of. It's really nice and really feminine and super flattering. The fabric does have a bit of a stretch to it, so it means that it's going to really sit beautifully on the body, and it's also going to be super comfortable. And also, like I said, the high slit does give it, I'd say, a bunch of sexy points. So it is a midi skirt, but it's not boring because of the ruching. And the slit to show a massive turn of leg. And also you can dress it up or dress it down depending on the occasion, with sneakers, with wedges, sandals, heels, for dinner, for daytime, anything goes really. And the fabric is durable as well. Over here I have handkerchiefs. I had, what can I say, I love handkerchiefs. They are ladylike and sophisticated, and they just make you look like you're from another world. You know, you are not relying on tissue, because with the flu season, obviously you're going to use a massive ton of tissue, so sometimes you don't have it, or maybe you're just inhaling a lot of dust from the tissue. So a handkerchief is just lovely because it's also good for the environment. When you're done with it, you can just chuck it in the washing machine, and then you can wash them, or you can simply hand wash them, depending on what does it for you really. I love these ones. I got them from Amazon. They do have a lovely lacy detail around them, which makes them super feminine and absolutely elegant, and yeah, and ladylike, super ladylike. And I think it's a nice touch really, to just pull a hanky off your bag, out of your bag, and just blow your nose or wipe away your fake tears. Studio Fix, M.A.C. I've been using this for the longest time. Sometimes I forget about it because the market is massively flooded with all sorts of powders, loose powders, pressed powders, transparent powders, translucent powders. But the good thing about the formulation of this one is that it's a foundation slash powder. So for those days when you just want to skip your foundation and still look presentable, this is definitely absolutely gorgeous. And because I have dry skin, I find that a little bit goes a mighty long way. I simply focus on the T-zone. So this is it. And then I just dust a little bit out of, on the outer perimeters of the face. And I find that my makeup really lasts the longest. So sometimes I go throughout the day without any touch-ups whenever I use this to seal the foundation and just to seal everything. It's fantastic because it's not going to look cakey. It's not heavy, despite it being a foundation powder. It's actually super comfortable, and it just looks like second skin basically, especially after you mistify. And if you watched my previous video, I did show you my new favorite M.A.C setting spray. So this is really fantastic, and it lasts a very long time, because I remember using it. This was like my first introduction to high-end to low-end, is it? Yes, to kind of expensive makeup. This was my first introduction, so it's kind of like my first love. You know, you can't really always forget your first love, and this does an amazing job. Still on M.A.C, over here I have the Spice lip liner. This is what I'm currently wearing at the moment. If you have dark skin like myself, this is gorgeous, because it's a nice brown that is similar to my skin color almost. It's really close, and it gives the lips such a nice definition, and it just makes your lips look kissable and defined, and there's no bleeding on your lipstick as well. And even when it's on with a lip balm, sometimes I wear this with my Dio lip maximizer. Such a gorgeous combination, and a lot of people compliment me on it, because it just looks like my lips, but better, like they have been done but not done. I can never get my lips done. It will look horrendous on me, oh my god, because I have massive lips. And growing up I used to be teased for having these lips, and now everybody sort of, I mean, every now and then somebody comes to me, so who is your doctor? Especially my Russian friends. I'm like, God is my doctor. Now the joke is on those people who used to make fun of my giant lips. And this is fantastic, and it's buttery, and it just works with different sort of colors. I use this pencil with reds and pinks and nudes and oranges, and it just looks gorgeous, because yeah, it's close to my skin color. So this is really fantastic. I highly recommend it for lip definition and to just plump them up a little bit. I love these. They are safe, because you're not lighting a candle, you're not using an oil diffuser, you're not using whatchamacallit, what is that thing you called, incense. Because with incense, you're gonna have to open the windows or open the doors, because of the carbon, is it carbon dioxide? Carbon monoxide? Smoke? Yeah, it can get smoky. And whereas with a red oil diffuser, you can simply just open it. If there's, yeah, you put your sticks in it, your reeds, and you're good to go. And it improves the whole fragrance of the house. Your house just smells gorgeous. And my favorite one happens to be the white jasmine, and it's beautiful even in the bathroom, on the counters, like I said, because it's safe. And the only thing you should just worry about is that maybe the oil might spill and damage your furniture. So always use your coaster. The way you use a coaster for your cup of tea or your wine or your water, you should also use a coaster for your diffusers, because they can stain. But other than that, there's such a joy as you pass by. It just smells like your home. And the beauty of it is that, like I said, there's so many options. There's so many fragrances you can choose. And my one just happens to be white jasmine, and it's really true to what I fancy. Speaking of scent, over here I have the Rose Fine Fragrance Mist by Bath and Body Works. Again, I'm going to link my best loved Bath and Body Works products. Yes, a haul that I did in December, if I'm not mistaken. So this has really stood out to me as well, next to the aromatherapy range. It's very rosy, and it smells lovely. If you want to smell rosy like throughout, because sometimes you wear perfume and then you just target your pulse, behind the ear, behind the legs, and your hair sometimes. Whereas with this one, it's for the entire body. It smells lovely. It's compatible with a lot of moisturizers and oils, as well as your perfumes as well. So this is an extra layer of yumminess to you. And if you just want to smell rosy and just gorgeous and feel like an absolute gorgeous goddess, this would definitely be a big contender. Now on to all things mindfulness. Although this is mindfulness because it's part of self-care, isn't it? Over here, I have the Leuchtturm. Is that how you pronounce it? Leuchtturm Bujo. This is the Leuchtturm 917. I love this. I always use the moleskin, but the moleskin is slightly smaller than this one. So depending on your creativity and how much you doodle and the kind of notes that you take and how you elaborate you want your tasks to be, your calendars and your life, really. I find this to be such a joy because it has all this real estate and it's spacious, and also it's bullet format, so obviously there's lots of room for creativity, and I just love it. And the color as well, it's nice and pretty. So I had to save the best for last. This happens to be a book by Elizabeth Strout. It's called Olive Kitteridge. This is a book about a retired teacher, and she was, I would say, the third generation in the coastal town of Maine. And this kind of book is not the kind of book that I always gravitate towards, if you will, but it happened to be a bestseller, and I thought to myself, why not? And every chapter is dedicated to different characters, to different people, different lives. And this is a book that is going to make a lot of things will resonate with you, and a lot of things might seem familiar and they might break your heart, make you cry sometimes. And the connector, because it's like I said, every chapter is dedicated to different scenarios, different people, different lives, but through it all, the needle that goes through those threads is Olive. She happened to be a retired teacher, like I said, and she was mean and unkind most of the time. That was just the way she was, and she didn't know that she was mean because like I said, that's just the way she was. And she wasn't the type to suffer fools gladly, and she was feared by her students. Even though the former students, they were used to be afraid of her, and she was mean, like I said. One time, her husband used to run. He was a pharmacist, so he used to run a pharmacy, and he had an assistant. So when the assistant, she was this young girl, very sheltered and very young as well. She married young, and you know, that sheltered small town kind of life. But her husband died. This is one example. Her husband died. And soon after her husband died, she got a cat, and she ran over the cat. So she calls over Olive's husband, crying, and he had to go over to her and comfort her and help her. So the moment Olive's husband came back home, the washing machine. So the moment he came back from helping her out, Olive had to just, without even making eye contact, she was doing whatever she was doing, probably dishes if I'm not mistaken, and then she says, how is she, you widow comforter? She had no regard of her pain whatsoever. But like I said, underneath all that, she really was just a human being, and I think we see that humanness throughout. She wasn't a humanoid in any way because she was just mean. Like, there was no filter. There was no filter whatsoever. But this is a story. These are stories about life. They're about love. They're about loss, and it's just beautiful, just captivating, like I said. And again, every story is just going to open your heart even more. I remember my first class in swing yoga, there was a girl next to me. She was wearing a tennis bracelet, and I was like, oh my god, Olive Kitteridge had a thing about tennis bracelets, because her daughter-in-law her daughter-in-law actually wanted a tennis bracelet for Christmas. And when I saw the bracelet, I was like, oh my gosh, Olive. And that's when I realized that she really has become a part of me, and despite her imperfections, she meant well at the end of the day. So when I saw that, I really chuckled. My heart warmed up because she really has become a part of me, really. So that's what books do to you at the end of the day. they change you and you might not even realize it. And I think that is beautiful because there's so much to learn and so many, what do they say, so many books and so little time. So in this best love bits and bobs, we're going to be including a read as well, and I highly recommend this because oof, it will just break your heart and mend your heart. And it is life, because life, like I said, life is not meant to be lived through a filter. And these people, their life, their stories were genuine, and they'll definitely move your heart. And that's all we had time for today. Thank you so much for watching. Please do give the video a boop boop, and take care of one another, love one another, and be kind to one another. If nothing else, I shall see you in my next video. Bye.